Yes, today we will discuss about applied thermodynamics. In the applied thermodynamics, entire first unit just we will brush up ourselves because we will next we will start second unit of applied thermodynamics. The syllabus we covered in the applied thermodynamics in the first unit is A standard cycles. Just I am the recap of the first unit only I am doing. 9 classes we completed this first unit. So today I am just recap the entire what we discussed in the first unit. The first part of first unit A standard cycles we discussed. In that Otto cycle, diesel cycle, efficiency derivations, problems and comparison of Otto cycle, diesel cycle we discussed. Next, introduction to internal combustion engines, energy conversion, what is the heat engine, what is the classification of internal combustion engines. Next, working principle of 2-stroke and 4-stroke, differences between 2-stroke, 4-stroke, and working principle of diesel and petrol, and difference between the spark ignition engine and compression ignition. This part and wall time diagram also we discuss, wall time and port time diagrams in this unit. Just coming to the first part, here first before starting the A standard cycle we discussed about the process because constant isobaric process, isochoric process, isothermal process, isoentropy. These 4 processes, whatever the cycles we discussed in A standard are Weber cycles, all cycles constituted with these 4 processes only. Any of the 4 processes. It may be combination of constant pressure and adiabatic, constant volume and adiabatic or isothermal and so adiabatic process is common process for work interaction. Why? Because the heat transfer of the adiabatic process is 0. So we have to recall the relations in adiabatic process, very much important, and specific heats and slopes. In computation exams you will get slope of different curves, different process curves. Isobaric process, what is the slope is 0. Why? Because horizontal. Constant volume process is vertical, so PV diagram vertical process, and so infinite is the slope. Isothermal process, temperature is constant, slope is 1. Isoentropic process, slope is gamma. Specific heats of isothermal process. Why? Because isothermal process heat transfer is taking place. There is no temperature difference. So heat equal to Cp into delta T. Delta T is 0. Cp equal to heat transfer by delta T means 1 by something by 0 means automatically it will get infinite. So specific heat at isothermal process is infinite. Specific heat isoentropic process is 0. Next important is relations. The relations are important. Pressure volume, temperature volume, temperature pressure. These, without these relations recalling, we can't solve the problems. P1 V1 power gamma equal to P2 V2 power gamma, or T2 by T1 equal to V1 by V2 whole power gamma minus 1. T2 by T1 equal to P2 by P1 whole power 1 minus 1 by gamma minus 1. These relations are very much important. Next, one more, heat transfer equal to work done in isothermal process. That's why in isothermal process, why Carnot is assumed isothermal process means in isothermal process, whatever the heat we are supplying, entire heat will convert as a work. Next, move to the A standard cycle. Before moving to the A standard cycle, what is the purpose of assumption of A standard cycle means? First, you have to know the actual process. In a actual internal combustion engines, the actual process will take place by intake, compression, combustion, expansion and exhaust. These are the processes. One cycle is completed means these 5 processes we have to fulfill: the intake, compression, combustion, expansion and exhaust. But theoretically, what is the main problem? This is a open cycle. For analysis purposes, some complexity will increase. For simplification of this, what we assume, there is no intake and exhaust first, and whatever the mediator we are using, that is the perfect gas, means air we are assuming, air standard cycles, the name itself it is. So air standard cycle means it will obey the characteristic gas constant PV equal to RT. And there is no change of intake of mass, charge. Generally in internal combustion engines, whatever we want more power means more air fuel mixture is entering into the cylinder. Simple. If I want more power means more air fuel mixture is entering into the cylinder. So charge intake is changing according to load, but our simplicity of application analysis, what we did means there is no charge. Whatever the air inside the cycle we are considering, that is constant, but the heat addition will increase and decrease according to load. So here heat addition also not by the combustion process from the external source, external reservoir, external high temperature reservoir, and heat rejection in actual process is by exhaust, but our A standard cycle heat rejection also we are taking by to heat rejection to the sink only. And specific heat, generally specific heat is depend on temperature from the Joule experiment anywhere. Specific heat is depend on temperature, but in this cycle analysis specific heat is not depend on the temperature. We are assuming it is a constant of the air, specific heat of the air 1.004 kilojoules per kg Kelvin, specific heat of like that we are assuming. But these are the assumptions we made for simplification of the operation. So these are the assumptions we made. Next, in an examination you may get the question like that: how the A standard cycle is differ from the actual cycle? Explain. Means explain means here just you want to explain. Just you want to explain simplest method, whatever the assumptions we make, that is only the explanation. Next coming to the nomenclature, the Carnot cycle. Sorry. Next coming to the nomenclature, whatever the cylinder bore, this is the nomenclature. This is called bore diameter. This is stroke length. The piston is moving from lower position to higher position, top dead center and bottom dead center. The reversal direction of the piston will takes place. That is called dead center. The top side means near head means top dead center, near crankshaft means bottom dead center. So the length of travel from top dead center to bottom dead center is called stroke. So the bore means the volume, stroke volume means pi by 4 d square into L. D means diameter of the piston or bore. Okay. Next, once piston is reached TDC condition, the gap between piston crown and cylinder head is called clearance volume. So total volume is clearance volume plus stroke volume. Piston reaching from BDC to TDC, that is called stroke volume, plus clearance volume is called total volume. The clearance volume ratio equal to total volume to clearance volume. This is called compression ratio R. So this is a small nomenclature we introduced. Then we derived the efficiency of Carnot cycle. Why everywhere first we are discussing about Carnot cycle means Carnot is the best cycle. Carnot scientists propose the best cycle. Why? Because in thermodynamics 100% efficiency is not at all possible. Then 100 is not at all possible means how much is possible? That is a question mark. 100 is not at all possible. Then how much percentage of the efficiency is possible means we want to calculate by using the maximum possible cycle, reversible cycle, that is Carnot cycle. Why the maximum possibility is achieving in Carnot cycle means Carnot cycle is, I will show PV and TS diagram. Carnot cycle constitutes of isothermal process, heat addition and adiabatic expansion. In isothermal also you see PV, the area under PV diagram will give maximum work output. In isothermal heat addition also work is producing. In derivations itself is shown whatever the heat supply and work done, both equations are same. So in isothermal process whatever the heat we are supplying, total heat will convert as a work. That's why we selected isothermal. Carnot is selected isothermal process for heat addition. And adiabatic process, without heat loss, expansion will take place. So total two process are work production process only. That's why Carnot will give the maximum efficiency. But the drawback of so it's a imaginary cycle. Practically it is not possible. Why? Because isothermal process is slow process and adiabatic process is too fast process. So The combination of too fast and slow, in practically it is not possible, but for determination of the benchmark efficiency, every time we are discussing Carnot cycle, and then we determine the Carnot cycle efficiency. Then efficiency of Carnot cycle is 1 minus T3 by T1. T3 by T1 means T3 and T4 is the lowest temperature, means 1 minus lowest temperature by highest temperature is called the Carnot cycle efficiency. What is Carnot theorem means? Any cycle operating between same temperature limits, efficiency equal to Carnot cycle only. The practical engine efficiency always less than the Carnot engine efficiency. Next we discussed about Otto cycle. The major drawback of the Carnot cycle is heat addition. So in Otto cycle, Nicholas Otto proposed constant volume heat addition instead of isothermal heat addition. He proposed constant volume heat addition. You see, in the constant volume process, heat addition is taking place, and constant volume process heat rejection is taking place. So constant volume heat addition is proposed by Nicholas Otto, and adiabatic expansion and adiabatic compression is same. It is proposed in 1876. Then we determine the thermal efficiency of Otto cycle. The work done by the system during the process by heat supply to the system. Work done means heat supply means heat rejection. Heat supply, heat rejection at constant volume process means MCV T3 minus T2. The temperature difference into mass into specific volume at a constant volume process. T3 minus T2 why it came is 2 to 3 is the constant volume heat addition. So MCV T3 minus T2 and MCV T4 minus T1, it is the heat rejection. And then we substituted, then MCV cancel, then finally 1 minus T4 minus T2 1 by T3 minus T1, or 1 minus T1 by T2. T1 numerator is kept common and T2 denominator kept common. Then T1 by T2, T4 minus T1 by T3 minus. Here for simplification of equation we used the relations of adiabatic process, temperature to volume relation. Then volume ratio we already given R, compression ratio. Volume, the compression ratio and expansion ratio. Volume before compression by after compression, volume after expansion by before expansion, both are same. Why? Because both heat addition and heat rejection is taking place in same common process is constant volume. Then we substituted here, then T4 by T1 equal to T3 by T2, automatically total equation will cancel. Final equation 1 minus T1 by T2, 1 minus T1 by T2, then T2 by T1 equal to V1 by V2 whole power minus gamma minus 1. Then 1 minus T1 by T2 means 1 minus 1 by V1 by V2 whole power gamma minus 1. Volume before compression by volume after compression is a compression ratio. Then 1 minus 1 by R power gamma minus 1. So the efficiency of Otto cycle is depend on compression ratio and specific heat ratio, not heat addition or pressure ratio. And gamma value of the cycle also is fixed. Mediator, monoatomic gas, gamma value 1.67, diatomic gas, gamma 1.4, exhaust gas, gamma value 1. So efficiency of Otto cycle is purely depend on the compression ratio. Next, determination of the mean effective pressure. What is mean effective pressure means? Hypothetical constant pressure acting on the piston while on expansion. Why? Because starting of expansion high pressure is available, cycle high pressure. At the end of expansion lowest pressure is available. The average pressure acting on the piston you have to determine. That simple equation is work output by swept volume. Swept volume means V1 minus V2, means it is a stroke volume, pi by 4 d square into L, or V1 minus V2. V1 is total volume, V2 is clearance volume. Total volume minus clearance volume is the swept volume, or if they provide a dimension pi by 4 d square into L, then there is a swept volume. So mean effective pressure equal to work done by swept volume. And then we solved some problems. Basic equations, we used the basic equation. So they given temperature ratio, then we determine the compression ratio and determine the efficiency of Otto cycle. Here heat addition, everything we want to determine. They are given compression ratio. Based on the compression ratio we determine the temperature ratio. Then after the temperatures we determine, and then heat supplied, heat rejection we calculated. heat supply minus heat rejection is the net work output, thermal efficiency equal to net work output by heat supply, or we already know the compression ratio, then we can determine the efficiency. And one more efficiency, here I mentioned swept volume. Here swept volume, how we are calculating means pi by 4 d square into L, then swept volume came, then compression ratio equal to clearance volume plus swept volume by clearance volume, then we get the compression ratio. Specificity ratio gamma, Cp Cv value they given 1.004 by 0.7, then 1.4. If they are not given also, you have to assume gamma value, then finally you got the efficiency of Otto. The different simple problems we solved upon this Otto cycle. Next, some more ratios we discussed as the compression ratio, or volume before compression by volume after compression. Volume before compression is total volume, clearance volume plus swept volume by clearance volume. Next, expansion ratio, volume after expansion by volume before. At Otto cycle, the compression ratio and expansion ratio is equal, because heat addition, heat rejection is same process. Next, explosion ratio. Explosion ratio means pressure after heat addition by pressure before heat addition. Next, cutoff ratio, volume after heat addition by volume before heat addition. These are the ratios we are discussing thoroughly for the derivation of diesel cycle, especially diesel cycle and dual cycle. So you can see cutoff ratio, volume after heat addition by volume before heat addition. Expansion ratio, volume after expansion by volume before expansion. Compression ratio, volume before compression by volume after. But you see, all ratios is greater than 1 only, not less than 1. All ratios are greater than 1 only. Coming to the diesel cycle, here diesel cycle, what we are doing, we are replacing constant volume heat addition by constant pressure heat addition. In what happened, in Otto cycle, what happened, in the suction stroke, air and fuel combinedly entering into the cylinder. Due to the air and fuel entry, if I am increasing compression ratio, why? Because efficiency of cycle will increase by increasing of compression ratio. While I am increasing the compression ratio, the fuel will get the self-ignition temperature. Before initiating combustion process, the combustion of the fuel will take place. So uncontrolled combustion, uneven combustion, or pre-ignition or auto-ignition will take place inside the cylinder, because in the Otto cycle, air and fuel combinedly is entering into the inside the cylinder while in suction stroke. So to overcome that one, in diesel cycle, we are separated the air and fuel. So air is separately compressing and fuel is separately compressing, and while at combustion process we are mixing air and fuel. So what is the main advantage? You can increase the compression ratio according to your wish. According to your wish means material constraint. If proper material is available, you can increase up to 20, 30 also. But in Otto cycle, the maximum limitation of compression ratio according to fuel used, volatile fuel used, 1:10. Here 1:25. I think 1:15 to 1:25 we are maintaining in diesel cycle compression ratio. So the main advantage. And the heat addition in diesel cycle at a constant pressure process. In Otto cycle, heat addition at a constant volume process. In diesel cycle, heat addition at a constant pressure process. Remaining all same. Then you see the compression ratio is higher than the expansion ratio. So compression ratio and cutoff ratio. Now only we discussed about the ratios. Volume after heat addition by volume before heat addition. So compression ratio is the combination of cutoff ratio and expansion ratio. But in Otto cycle, compression ratio equal to expansion ratio. So here cutoff, you see, while suppose I am supplying fuel continuously, what it will happen? The combustion process will continue up to end. So there is no power stroke expansion. So we want to cut off the fuel supply. Where we cut off the fuel supply, from that point expansion will initiate. So cutoff ratio is a major driving force in diesel cycle. You can see the process explanation I mentioned. Then efficiency of diesel cycle, we are derived heat supply minus heat rejection by heat supply. Heat supply at constant pressure process we are doing. So MCP T3 minus T2. Heat rejection constant volume. All transport vehicles heat rejection we are taking place by constant volume process only. Then divided by heat supply. Then 1 minus CV by CP T4 minus T1 by T3 minus T2. Cp by Cv is gamma, Cv by Cp equal to 1 minus 1 by gamma. Here For simplification of equation, all temperatures we are converting in T1 form. So process 1 to 2 adiabatic process. T2 by T1 equal to V1 by V2. Here T2 equal to T1 into R power gamma minus 1. Process 2, it is a constant pressure process. Then V2 by T2 is equal to V3 by T3. Then T3 is equal to V3 by V2. V3 by V2 volume after heat addition by before heat addition is a cutoff ratio. Then T3 also we wrote in a T1 form. Next, T4 also again adiabatic process. We wrote T4 also T1 form. Then we substituted. The final equation we got 1 minus 1 by R power gamma minus 1 into RC power gamma minus 1 into gamma into RC minus 1. So here efficiency of diesel cycle depends on compression ratio and cutoff ratio. So we want to maintain optimum cutoff ratio. If you are increasing cutoff ratio also, it will reduce the power output, it will reduce the efficiency. If you are maintaining minimum cutoff ratio also, you will get the minimum power output. So the optimum cutoff ratio between 1 to 2, 1.5 to 1.6 we are maintaining. So efficiency of diesel cycle or Otto cycle is depend on the compression ratio R only. Then we solved some problems, direct problems, and some more problems. Here they given expansion ratio. We want to determine the cutoff ratio. So how we are determining the cutoff ratio means compression ratio equal to cutoff ratio into expansion ratio. The compression ratio R equal to cutoff ratio into expansion. This is one of the shortcut method. So compression ratio equal to cutoff ratio into expansion ratio. You can determine the cutoff ratio and determine the remaining efficiencies, unknown parameters. One more thing, the problem every time they are giving cutoff will takes place 5% of stroke. So the then compression ratio minus 1 equal to 1 by n. 5% of stroke means 1 by 5%. 5 into 5 divided by 100 means 0.05 into cutoff minus 1. This is the one of the shortcut for solving the problem. Whenever in the problem they are given the fuel cutoff will take occurs 5% of stroke, like that they are giving means simply R minus 1 compression ratio means 1 by equal to 1 by n into RC minus 1. Compression ratio how we are determined here, septic volume, the diameter length they be given, clearance volume they given. So total volume by clearance volume you will get the stroke volume. Then compression ratio, clearance volume plus stroke volume by clearance, you will get the compressor ratio. Once you know the compression ratio, R minus 1 equal to 1 by n into RC minus 1. This is the some of the useful problems we did in the last class. Some of the problems we solved. This is the entire material with you. Next we discuss about dual cycle. In dual cycle, constant volume and constant pressure heat addition is taking place, remaining all same. So in dual cycle, constant volume and constant pressure heat addition is taking place, remaining all same. Work done at adiabatic process only, heat rejection at constant volume process only, and compression also adiabatic compression only. But if you see the equation here, in this equation also 1 minus 1 by R power gamma minus 1 is common. Later is the combination of cutoff ratio and explosion ratio. Here one important questions you may expect in an end examination and not a competition examination. Cutoff ratio is 1, then dual cycle will act as a Otto cycle. If V3 by V4 is equal to 1, then dual cycle will act as a Otto cycle. RP equal to 1, explosion ratio is 1, V3 by V2 explosion ratio is 1, then automatically it will dual cycle will act as a diesel cycle. These are the two important points. Then comparison of the Otto cycle and diesel cycle. Comparison generally based on some parameters, common parameters we have to compare. This comparison is very much important for competition exams also. Same compression ratio and heat addition. The first comparison is same compression ratio and heat addition. If compression ratio is same, means 1 to 2 or 1 to 2, in TS diagram you can see the compression ratio is same 1 to 2, and same heat addition. Same heat addition means all cycles area in TS diagram must be same. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is Otto cycle, that area, and 1, 2 dash, 2 double dash, 3 double dash, 4 double dash and 1 is the dual cycle, that area and TS diagram, and 1, 2, 3 dash, 4 dash and 1, this is the diesel cycle. These 3 cycles heat addition means 3 cycles area and the TS diagram must be same, and heat compression ratio also same, 1 to 2 same. In this condition, which cycle efficiency is high? Means heat supply is same, compression ratio is same, then 1 minus heat rejection by heat supply. Simple. Here heat rejection you say, this is 1 to 4 heat rejection of Otto cycle, 1 to 4 double dash heat rejection of dual cycle, 1 to 4 dash heat rejection of diesel cycle. The area under 1 4 or 1 4 dash or 1 4 double dash is called the heat rejection. So heat rejection of Otto cycle is low compared to dual cycle and diesel cycle. Means same compression ratio, same heat input, means Otto cycle having the highest efficiency compared to diesel cycle and dual cycle. 1 minus heat rejection is low, means automatically the value of the 1 minus value is reducing, automatically efficiency is increasing. So same compression ratio heat addition means Otto cycle is having the highest efficiency compared to diesel cycle and dual cycle. Same compression ratio and heat addition. And the second one, same compression ratio and heat rejection. In this also see compression ratio is same, heat rejection is same, 1 to 4 is same, but heat supply is not same. In Otto cycle heat supply is high, you see in PV diagram also. See same compression ratio, but heat addition constant volume process is high. That's why because peak pressures will occur in constant volume process and Otto cycle after heat addition. So area under PV diagram work done is high and heat supply is high. Heat rejection is same, 4 to 1 is same. So here also work done is high in Otto cycle compared to diesel cycle. So same compression ratio word anywhere it is coming in competition exam. The comparison of efficiency means Otto cycle highest efficiency. Without reading entire the question also we can answer. If same compression ratio, Otto cycle highest efficiency. Coming to the same peak pressures. Same peak pressures, here you see you want to get same peak pressures and temperatures and heat rejection. So here 4 to 1 process is same, but same peak pressure and peak temperatures. Peak pressure, peak temperature in Otto cycle when we will get after heat addition, but diesel cycle after compression itself we will get the peak pressure, after heat addition we will get the peak temperature. So in the PV diagram you can see the area of the diesel cycle is high compared to Otto cycle, and here also heat rejection is same, but heat supply of diesel cycle is high compared to Otto cycle. So in this also 1 minus heat rejection by heat supply. Heat supply is high in diesel cycle, automatically the efficiency of diesel cycle is high. So same peak pressure, peak temperature, heat rejection means diesel cycle is having the highest efficiency. Same compression ratio, same heat input or heat rejection means Otto cycle is having the highest efficiency. Same maximum pressure, in this condition also you can see. So anywhere same peak pressure, peak temperatures we are calling, then diesel cycle is having the highest efficiency. Same efficiency, say, means what we call same compression ratio, then Otto cycle is having the highest efficiency. That's why in a common life we are commonly we are comparing diesel engine cars are giving good mileage compared to petrol engine cars. Where is the comparison base? They have comparison base. That comparison base, what is that base means? Peak pressure and peak temperature. The peak pressure temperatures of diesel engine or petrol engine same, not compression ratio. Petrol engine compression ratio maximum 1:10, diesel engine compression ratio maximum 1:25. So the compression ratios are not same, but same peak pressure and peak temperature. That's why diesel engine having the highest mileage, means efficiency is high, means mileage also high. High compression ratio, automatically high mileage. It is clear. So in day-to-day life, diesel vehicles are having highest efficiency, highest mileage. Why means with petrol how you can compare means based on the peak pressure and peak temperature only we are comparing diesel engine and petrol engine. Next, coming to the second part of first unit, introduction to internal combustion engines. Here energy conversion, generally energy conversion is the first phenomena of any engine. Before introduction of internal combustion engines, there is no energy conversion, means energy conversion is there. Suppose windmills, in olden days we are using windmills for lifting of water for agriculture purpose. This kinetic energy we are converting to the mechanical energy. And next, one more potential energy, reservoirs, dams we constructed. Potential energy there we are converting to the mechanical energy, rotation of the shaft. This is olden days itself energy conversion is there. But we are not discussing that much of thoroughly and separately compared to internal combustion engines. Why? What is the difference? Generally, any heat engine means that engine which is converting chemical energy to thermal energy. First, energy conversion will take place chemical to thermal. By utilizing that thermal energy, it is producing mechanical energy. So, heat engine, why separately we are discussing means it is a three stage, not direct. In windmills, kinetic energy to mechanical energy. In reservoirs, potential energy to dams, reservoirs we constructing. So, potential energy to mechanical energy. But coming to the heat engines, here we are converting heat energy to mechanical energy, chemical energy to mechanical energy, but directly we are not converting chemical to heat. By using heat energy we are converting mechanical, then it is called heat engines. Heat engines generally classified as two types. One is internal combustion engine, second one is external combustion engine. Heat engines are classified two types, internal combustion and external. Combustion is taking place inside the engine, then it is called internal combustion engine. Outside the engine, then it is called external combustion engine. All power plants are external combustion engine. All automobile engines all are internal combustion engines. So, the operation of process we know for the cycle: suction, compression, combustion, expansion and exhaust. These five processes are common operation of cycle for internal combustion engine. To fulfill the five process, we are using engine, the schematic view of the internal combustion engine. The basic components you can see. This is the cylinder bore. Inside the cylinder bore, cylinder liner is inserted. Inside the liner only suction, compression, combustion, expansion, everything will take place. Indirectly, this liner guiding the piston. The entire suction of the air fuel mixture or air, compression of the air fuel mixture or air or combustion, expansion, exhaust, all the process will execute inside the cylinder liner only. So, coming to the head, in the head part, three ports are there. This is inlet port, this is exhaust port. These ports are covered by the valves. Valves always in closed condition. When we can open the valve means by rotation of the camshaft. Camshaft contains lobes. Lobes are lifting rocker arms. Rocker arms are pressing valves against the spring tension. Automatically valve opening will take place. According to intake stroke, suction stroke, inlet valve will open. Exhaust stroke, exhaust valve will open. One more port is there, that is a provision for spark plug or injector. If SI engine, spark ignition engines means spark plug we are using. Compression ignition engines we are using the injector. Then the piston backside is connected a small end of connecting rod and big end of connecting rod connected to the crankshaft. And crankshaft is upon the bearings, it is freely rotating. The crankshaft only the absorbing the energy through the connecting rod, whatever in the expansion stroke. Remaining strokes, it is supplying energy, rotation of the movement of the piston. These are the minimum components. And so, component wise we will discuss. You see, this is the cylinder block. You can see original cylinder block. This is V-shape engine, single crankshaft, 4 bores and 8 bores, and this big heavy vehicle engine. This is the coolant jackets, provision for coolant jackets. Main it is the cylinder block is guiding the piston. The materials maximum cast iron we are using. Next, cylinder head, you see 3 ports are there. One is inlet port, one is exhaust port. One more port provision is given to for provision of placement of spark plug or injector. So head is the major post, it is acting as a sealant. And for this is the cooling jacket, provision for cooling jackets also. The head also maintained same material. Next, piston. You see, piston is the main force absorbing the energy. This is a piston crown. This is the face. It is exposed to the combustion fuels. Then piston contains grooves for oil rings and compression rings throws, and this is the small end bearings. Here in this by gadget pin we are connecting rod with the piston. Piston generally made up of small engine pistons, means aluminum alloys. Otherwise nickel chromium steels we are using for piston. This rings, why? Because piston and bore, in between piston and bore some gap we are maintaining, otherwise friction welding will take place. But we are maintaining that gap is it will create leakage of the combusted gas, so expansion process will not take place. So for that purpose we are providing rings, open end rings. Why? Because at the time of manufacturing we are not inserting the rings. After manufacturing only we are inserting rings according to bore and piston diameter. Size of the rings will depend. Two rings are called compression rings. The purpose of compression ring is it is not allowing combusted gas while in expansion stroke. So entire pressure will act on piston crown only, expansion process will take place. Second, oil rings. Large capacity engines we are using oil rings. What is the oil ring means? First, by splash lubrication or pressurized lubrication, upon the cylinder wall we are spraying the oil. So first we want to clean the oil of the cylinder bore. If you are not cleaning, this lubricant also involving the combustion process, unwanted hydrocarbons, black smoke will come from the silencer. So if the rings are failed, oil ring is failed, means it is the indication. If oil ring is failed, black smoke is coming out from the silencer. So these piston rings generally made up of spring steel and heat treated process we are using. Because high temperature and pressure resistance is required. Next, coming to the connecting rods, you see that big end, small end is connected to the piston, big end is open type, bolt and nut we are connecting to the crankshaft. This is also small cylinder, small engines is aluminum alloy, big engine is nickel chromium alloys only. Crankshaft, you can see the size and shape of the crankshaft depend upon the number of pistons we are using, means number of cylinder bores we are using. As a single, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 cylinder crankshaft. And if 4 stroke engine, the size of the flywheel, this is the flywheel size will increase. If 2 stroke engine means flywheel size will reduce. Next, crankcase, back side of the engine we are using crankcase. This is only purpose to maintain the lubricant oil for lubrication of the entire internal combustion engine. Next, valves. This valves opening closing of the ports, inlet port or exhaust port. Proper sitting of the valve seat is not takes place, then decrease in compression ratio, pressure decrease will take place inside the cylinder. So combustion, it will not initiate the combustion. Why? Because sufficient compression ratio is not achieved. Even though we are given spark, the combustion is not initiating. So proper valve seat sitting is required. Next, this is the camshaft. The size of the camshaft also depend upon the number of cylinders. Suppose single cylinder engine, 2 cam lobes are there, one lobe for inlet, one lobe for exhaust, and camshaft directly connected to the connecting rod by the timing gear. These are the gadget pins, the connection of piston and connecting rod, and these are the push rods. Generally camshaft is available at head, push rods not required. If camshaft is available at cylinder body, then these push rods are required for lifting of the rope rod. Next, manifold. This is a manifold means common passage. Here suppose this is inlet manifold we are assuming. This is the inlet of the manifold. So here we are connecting carburetor. From the carburetor, air fuel mixture is entering inside the manifold. But in a 6 cylinder engine, in 1 cylinder suction will initiate. Suction means inlet valve will close, vacuum will created. So this air fuel mixture directly entering into that inlet cylinder wall of cylinder only, not all cylinders. So each cylinder we are not connected to the carburetor. By the manifold we are connected. So every engine having 2 manifolds, multi-cylinder engines. Single cylinder manifold not required. Multi-cylinder engines having the 2 manifolds. One is inlet manifold, another is exhaust manifold. Means all exhaust valves are connected to one manifold. All inlet valve is connected to one manifold. If inlet manifold means it is connected to carburetor, exhaust manifold means it is connected to the silencer. So it is collecting all exhaust stroke exhaust and uniformly distributing to the silencer, and through the silencer the exhaust gas is coming to the ambient. So manifolds are important. The manifolds generally we are manufacturing black coated aluminum Li we are using. Next, spark plugs we are using in spark ignition engine. Main purpose of spark plug means providing the spark. How the spark is providing means high voltage current flowing in the electrode, and it is creating jump between the electrode and ground. Then one spark will light spark will exist. Using that spark only combustion will initiate. Coming to the injector or flywheel, the injector system. Here we are spraying the fuel, but at the compression, after compression, dense air is available. Upon the dense air, direct just we are spraying the fuel means it will not mix with the air. So 4 to 5 times higher pressure fuel we want to spray inside the cylinder, then only mixing of the air fuel mixture will take place. For that we are using injector connected as a nozzle. Always is closed with against the spring tension. While high pressure fluid is entered, this valve is opened, and through the injector fuel is injecting inside the cylinder. Next, flywheel means flywheel main purpose giving the storing the energy, and whenever energy is required we are giving back the energy to the engine only. This is the basic components of the cylinder. Next, coming to 4-stroke spark ignition engines and 2-stroke spark ignition engine, and difference between 4-stroke spark ignition and 2-stroke spark ignition. Whatever the stroke, 4-stroke or 2-stroke, stroke means one movement of the piston between the dead center, that's all. 4-stroke means 4 movements of the piston between the dead centers, means top dead center and bottom dead center. Dead center means reversal of direction of the piston where it is taking place, that is called dead center. If near the crankshaft, it is called bottom dead center. Near the head, it is called top dead center. So the operations are same. Induction means suction, compression, combustion, expansion, exhaust. This expansion only the power stroke, remaining all power consumption strokes. So these 5 processes we are completing in 4 strokes or 2 revolution of the crankshaft. Then it is called 4-stroke spark ignition engine. Or 4-stroke compression ignition, same. So process are same, combustion only changing. If it is completing single revolution of the crankshaft or 2-stroke, 2 movement of the piston between the dead center, then it is called 2-stroke spark ignition engine. So you can see in the 4-stroke spark ignition engine, first suction. How the suction is taking place? When piston at top dead center, inlet valve is opened, piston start moving from TDC to BDC. It is creating vacuum inside the cylinder. Due to natural aspiration, air fuel mixture is entering inside the cylinder in the suction stroke. You see in PV diagram. While piston is moving towards downward direction, automatically vacuum is created, suction of the air fuel mixture. Once suction is completed, inside the cylinder also we will achieve ambient pressure. Then inlet valve is closed, then inlet port is closed by the inlet valve. Then compression of the process. Next stroke, compression. Piston is moving from BDC to TDC. Adiabatic compression. BDC to TDC. Compression is taking. At the time of compression, both valves in closed condition only. Next, combustion. At the end of the compression, by the spark plug we are giving spark. Once spark is given, origin is creating, flame front will create, and complete combustion of the air fuel mixture will take place. So constant volume ignition. We are giving spark, ignition is initiated. At the end of the ignition we are getting peak pressure and peak temperatures. Then next, piston is moving from TDC to BDC. The third stroke, piston is moving from TDC to BDC. This is the expansion stroke or power stroke. Out of these 3 strokes, this is only the useful stroke. We are producing energy. Remaining 2 strokes, suction or compression, we are consuming energy. Next, exhaust. Once a piston is reached BDC condition, exhaust valve will open. Entire exhaust gas will, majority of the exhaust, not total, majority of the exhaust gas escape from the exhaust port. Why? Because rush out from the exhaust port. Why? Because inlet temperature and pressure of the exhaust gas is higher than the ambient condition, automatically entire exhaust gas is rush out from the cylinder through the exhaust port. The remaining exhaust gas we are throwing by piston is moving from bottom dead center to top dead center. So this operation is called indirectly scavenging, cleaning of the cylinder. What is the purpose? We are throwing out the remaining exhaust gas means we want to take again fresh gas. Again we want to start our cycle of operation. So you see, one movement of the piston from BDC to TDC or TDC to BDC, 180 degrees rotation of crankshaft. So total rotation is 720 degrees rotation, means 2 revolution of the crankshaft we are completing the 4 operations. How the combustion is taking place in spark ignition means by giving the spark we are completing the combustion process. That only we have explained. And full explanation I given entire material. Next, coming to the two-stroke engine. In two-stroke engine, the crankcase, these are the ports, transfer port, inlet port, exhaust port. These ports not operated by valve, by the movement of the piston. These engines are called Clark engines. Entirely it is a patented engine. So the crankcase also involving in the combustion process. In two-stroke ignition engines, the crankcase also involving in combustion process, while air fuel mixture is entering, while piston here intake and exhaust strokes are eliminated, separate, there is no separate strokes, while in compression intake will take place, while in expansion exhaust will take place. That's all. So intake directly not to the combustion chamber area, first it will enter into the crankcase, and then after semi compressed air fuel mixture through the transfer port it will enter into the combustion chamber. So how lubrication will take place? By mist lubrication, means with the fuel we are supplying the lubricant, and the lubricant is involving in the combustion process in two-stroke spark ignition. That's why highly polluted engines at present, according to Bharat norms, the two-stroke spark ignition engines are banned engines. We are not using anywhere. The small Lunas or 1 to 5 kilowatt capacity engines only we are using the two-stroke spark ignition. You see the stroke. Suppose piston is moving from TDC to TDC to BDC after combustion. It is moving. First it will open the exhaust port. After opening the exhaust port, majority of the exhaust gas will escape from the rush out from the cylinder. Further movement, this transfer port is opened. Already semi-compressed air fuel mixture available in crankcase. This compressed air fuel mixture entering into the combustion chamber area. While it is entering, it is throwing the remaining exhaust gas in the cylinder. It is called scavenging, cross scavenging. Scavengers means cleaner, that's all. By the fresh charge we are throwing the combusted gas. Then further movement of the piston, it will reach the BDC condition. Again BDC to TDC piston is moving. First it will close the transfer port, because last opening is the first closing. Then further movement of the piston, it will close the exhaust port. Our compression process will continue. End of the compression, we are giving the spark, ignition is initiating, then expansion. After end of the combustion, we will get the peak pressures and temperature, then expansion is initiated. While piston is moves to BDC condition, TDC condition, inlet port will open, intake of the air fuel mixture in the crankcase will take place. While piston is moving backward in same angle, first it will close the intake port, and compression of the air fuel mixture in the crankcase will take place. Further movement, exhaust port will open, maximum exhaust gas will escape. Further movement, transfer port will open. The compressed, semi-compressed air fuel mixture is entering into the cylinder. So this is the cyclic operation. In this cyclic operation, single rotation of the crankshaft, only one upward motion, one downward motion of piston. We are completing 5 processes. So it is called two-stroke. The major advantage of two-stroke and the drawbacks we will discuss now. Major differences, explanation. Differences means two-stroke engine completes one cycle of events in single revolution of the crankshaft. In four-stroke means 2 revolution of the crankshaft is required, and theoretically same capacity of engine, two-stroke engine will give double the power. Why? Because every crankshaft rotation it is producing the power, and if the If the mean effective pressure inside the cylinder, two-stroke engine is less compared to four-stroke. Why? Because in exhaust and inlet operation, we are opening the ports before the BDC, reaching the BDC condition, means loss of pressure drop will take place. Next difference, and the requirement of flywheel, two-stroke engine, the requirement of flywheel is low compared to four-stroke engine, and luxury components in two-stroke engine is low compared to four-stroke engine, and the cost of the engine also, two-stroke engine is low compared to four-stroke engine. The maintenance also, four-stroke engine is high compared to two-stroke, but the poor scavenging, I already mentioned, through transfer port air fuel mixture is entering inside the cylinder. At that condition, the poor scavenging condition, the loss of energy will take place, means the fresh charge also will escape through the exhaust port. This is a major, and semi-combusted fuels are leaving from the cylinder. So that's why exhaust gas pollutant, more pollutants are available in exhaust gas. The compression ratios or lubrication system, the lubrication system also, four-stroke is good lubrication, splash lubrication, pressurized lubrication we can do, but two-stroke only mist lubrication we are doing. So suppose in downward motion of the engine vehicle, at that time we are not supplying a air fuel mixture, so we are not supplying lubricant. So insufficient lubrication will take place when vehicle is moving in downward direction. So it may, in summer condition, it may cause seize also, seize of the engine also. So that is are the drawbacks of two-stroke. Pollution, poor lubrication is the major drawbacks. But coming to the advantages, same capacity, double the power we can produce, easy construction, simple design, simple maintenance, two-stroke engines. Coming to the four-stroke compression ignition engines, here same operation, but here only fresh air is intake inside the cylinder and air only compressing. At the end of the compression, by using the injector, double the compression ratio, means double the pressure. Suppose air pressure is 20 bar pressure, 5 to 10 times, 5 times means 100 bar, 150 bar pressure. Fuel we are supplying inside the cylinder, then fuel directly mix with the air and combustion will initiate. Why? Because the fuel will catch the heat and it reach the self-ignition temperature and combustion will. So this is called compression ignition, means two separately compressed fluids we are mixing at the time of combustion, then combustion is taking place. That's why the name is compression ignition engine. Same intake stroke is same, compression, adiabatic compression same, intake stroke, inlet valve will open, natural aspiration, air will enter into the cylinder. Next, in the combustion also we will supply the fuel, compressed fuel, it will enter into the cylinder, mix with the air and absorb the heat and reaching the self-ignition temperature, combustion will initiate. Next, exhaust process, in exhaust same, exhaust valve will open and it will escape the exhaust gas first initially due to pressure difference, next to piston movement, total cleaning will take place. Main advantage of four-stroke compression ignition engine means high compression ratio, means high torque we can produce. Coming to two-stroke compression ignition engines, it is not like four-stroke compression engines. In two-stroke compression ignition engines, here a crankcase is using for oil sump only. The induction of the air not by natural aspiration, compressed air blowing inside the cylinder, and exhaust ports are available in head only. Like four-stroke engine, exhaust ports are available in head only. We are placing injector, simple construction, but intake, there is no transfer port. Intake of air takes place by natural aspiration of not natural air, by the blowing of compressed air inside the cylinder. You see, while piston is moving, after injection combustion will take place. While piston is moving TDC to BDC, 2/3 motion of the piston, exhaust ports are open, exhaust valve will open, so majority of the exhaust gas escape through the exhaust port. Further downward movement of the piston, inlet port will open. Through the inlet port, compressed air blowing inside the cylinder. So this compressed air, what is doing? It is cleaning the remaining existed exhaust gas we are throwing out from the cylinder. Further movement of piston is reaching BDC condition. So expansion, exhaust, intake, everything is taking place single stroke. Next, second, piston is moving BDC to TDC. First it will close inlet port, then compression is exhaust valve will close, then after port is closed, then after further movement of the piston, compression is initiated. End of the compression, injection of the fuel will take place, and while injection of the fuel, combustion will initiate. It will reach peak pressure, peak temperature. Again expansion of the gas will occur. Piston is again moving TDC to BDC. Same process. So two stroke. One is compression, combustion, expansion, exhaust and intake. So within two stroke we are completing. These two stroke diesel engines under CI compression ignition engines we are using in marine applications. You see this basic cycle of operations. Cycle of operation means the difference between the compression comparison of spark ignition engines and compression ignition engines. Here the basic difference, cycle of operation means spark ignition engine based on Otto cycle, compression ignition engine based on diesel cycle. Induction of the fuel, here SI engine through the inlet valve only air fuel mixture is entering. In compression ignition engine by spraying of the fuel through the injector after compression. Before compression air fuel mixture is entering inside cylinder. So compression ignition, after compression we are spraying. Next ignition system, here by spark. In compression ignition, by mixing of two separately compressed fluids, combustion is initiated. Next compression ratio 1:10 maximum we are maintaining in spark ignition engine. Compression ignition engine 1:25 we are maintaining maximum. Next speed, spark ignition engine less compression ratio means less stroke length, automatically speed of engine is high. Spark ignition engines are high speed engines, compression ignition engines are low speed engines. Next coming to the thermal efficiency. Thermal efficiency of the spark ignition engine low. Why? Because low compression ratio. Thermal efficiency of CI engines are high. Why? Because high compression ratio. Weight, high stroke length means weight of the CI engine is high compared to SI engine. Fuel economy, spark ignition engines poor in fuel economy. Why? Because thermal efficiency is low compression ratio. CI engines fuel economy is good. Power torque, high stroke length means high power torque it will produce CI engine compared to SI engine. Reliability point of view, CI engines are good. Why? Because low speed engines, so wear and tear of the parts are low and more rugged system, and life of the engine is high compared to petrol engine. Coming to the pollution, diesel engines are highly polluted engines. Why? Because it is not directional combustion. The combustion where it will take place, whatever the fuel we sprayed, total fuel will involve or not we don't know. Some of the semi-combusted fuels will escape from the exhaust gas. That's why pollution point of view, diesel engines are highly polluted engines compared to petrol engines. Safety, diesel engines are viscous engines. Diesel fuels compared to fuel point of view, spark ignition fuels are volatile fuels, means it will evaporate. While it is evaporating, if any spark came nearer, means burning will take place. Petrol engines may burn, but diesel engines will not catch the fire. Why? Because these engines fuels are viscous fuels. So safety point of view, diesel engines are good. Cost point of view, diesel engines are high compared to petrol engines. Next, classification of internal combustion engines based on the cycle of operation: Otto cycle, diesel cycle, dual cycle. Type of fuel used: solid fuels, liquid fuels, volatile fuels, gaseous fuels and viscous fuels. Method of charging: natural aspiration, supercharging. Type of ignition: battery ignition, magneto ignition. Type of cooling: liquid cooling, air cooling. Type of lubrication: mist lubrication, means with fuel we are supplying lubricant, splash lubrication, pressurized lubrication or dry sump lubrication. Based on the next cylinder arrangement, inline, single line we are arranging, then small cars we are maintaining inline engines, heavy engines V shape, two inline engine with angle of inclination, single crankshaft we are maintaining, that is called V engine. Opposite cylinder engine, cylinders are opposite, same single crankshaft. Opposite head engine means same single head we are using but two crankshafts we are using. Radial engine, entire 360 direction of the crankshaft, all pistons are arranged. X engine, two V-shaped engines are combined with single crankshaft. Then X type engine. H type engine, two opposite cylinder engines connected with single crankshaft. Delta also delta shape connected, all the pistons is called different types of the arrangement. Next, coming to the application, two-stroke engines already banned. Small application, small generators, maybe 1 kilowatt to 5 kilowatt, small application. We will not run AC also. Small capacity, we can use two-stroke petrol engine. Two-stroke diesel engine, only one application is a marine application. You see example 800 bore 1550 stroke developed to 20 megawatt capacity at 120 rpm. This is the low speed but high torque. For marine application that is required. Pollution point of view it is not allowed, but marine application there is no pollution issue because the entire universe waste we are mixing in a marine only. So next, 4-stroke petrol engine for lightweight automobile and pump set, agriculture pump set we are using. 4-stroke diesel engines we are using heavy vehicles and diesel gensets. 1 megawatt, 2 megawatt diesel gensets we are using 4-stroke diesel engine. And next, locomotives. All rail diesel engines are based on 4-stroke diesel engines. So these are the brief applications. With this we are concluding this first unit. Next class we are discussing, we will start with the second unit. Thank you very much.